Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we have a very special guest. Alex Kutsishin is here with us, and he is the co-founder and CEO of Fuel Inc. It's a performance-based micro-content platform built for instant application, learning, mental fitness, and personal development. And he's a builder with receipts, named 30 under 30 and 40 under 40, and a two-time EY Entrepreneur of the Year winner and an Inc. 101 winner. Wow. Decorated he is. And Alex blends high performance strategy with real world leadership, turning big ideas into bite-sized habits that actually stick. And if there's a faster way to learn, lead, and level up, he's probably already shipping it. Alex, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be fun. I know what you get into, and I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit about how we came together and all of that a little bit later. But Fuel, myfuel.io is where people can find it. I think a lot of people are thinking the world doesn't need another learning management system. And here you've brought a system that people may perceive as that type of a system. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I love that. I agree with you. The world does not need another learning management system. By the way, all those learning management systems, I hope you don't take this too personal when I say that a learning management system is a glorified video filing cabinet. And who needs another video filing cabinet? The intention of LMSs were right because it's about giving people access and ability to learn on the fly, just in time, on demand, things like that. The concept is there. The challenge is, as is with all learning, 99% of it, because that's most of it is still done. The challenge is that platforms are still focused on getting people to remember information. That is a broken model. Okay.
Did it ever work? Things. I mean, let's step back for a second because there's a thing called the law of forgetting, right? Yes. And so that means it's not our fault and it's not the system's fault of wanting to teach people, but basically 20 minutes after we have learned something, 40% of that new information fades away. And so and the statistics go on after 1 hour, 50% fades after 24 hours, up to 70% of what we learned is gone. And especially today with so much information coming at us. As a matter of fact, you're going to love this statistic. I heard that we process more information coming at us in various different forms in one day that people did in a lifetime 50 years ago.
Isn't that something?
Lifetime.
Crazy.
So no wonder we can't remember anything.
That's exactly right. And so there's that. There's all of those things. But there's also just the fact, because you're asking, has it ever worked? Yes, learning from memory has worked. It's been effective. Let's talk about why we do anything as human beings. We are here for survival, okay? Just like everything else on this planet. And survival requires evolution. And I encourage people to do this. There are really cool stories about the history of apples, why apples are everywhere. The trees actually evolved, changed the flavor of their own fruit that they were bearing. It used to taste horrible. Now it's everywhere. There's a great history behind that. It evolved for what reason? Same reason we evolved. Survival. There was a time, Penny, where just your knowledge alone, just your information alone made you very valuable. There were courts that kings would have of really smart people that can answer questions. They were never to be hung, right? They would never lose their heads. Being smart meant survival. I could live a very long life. I could actually have a gray beard and maybe live in a safe, warm place. So there was a time where just learning for knowledge was really, really important. And if we move forward a little bit, we'll find that, look, things like really academic type of roles require constant knowledge. So all of your medical practices, and you just keep, you can fill in the blank, that require academia, a lot of it consistently, to be like, that person, now let's make them a professor. Now let's make them run our department, all these good things, because they know all of these things. But we have really quickly moved away from knowledge on its own as being the most valuable part of a person or that person's traits. And now it's about, what can you do with that knowledge, right? Because we actually now have access to the same knowledge, and the access that we have the knowledge to, now the knowledge doesn't stay stagnant and in a static mode. It's actually ever changing, evolving, and also communicates back to you. The knowledge talks to you. When you look in Google and you do a search today, what used to be a search engine is now a response engine. You ask and it gives you a response, not where you can find the answer, but the answer first. Once again, saying that information is important, but not as important as the outcome of that information.
Right.
And
because like you said, times have changed. We've evolved. And so the way that we gather that knowledge, the way that we want to use that knowledge, right, is ever changing. And just to talk about, just real quickly, back to your point about the video, just a video library, right, in LMS system.
Right.
Now we have YouTube. So we have the biggest video library that's out there. Yes. One of the general problems with acquiring knowledge today and people having all of this at their fingertips is also cognitive overload. It's just there's so much. And, what do we listen to? What is really valuable? So I believe also part of this is having a true curated platform that helps to be sure that it's the knowledge that I need when I need it. And how do you deliver that? Right.
And from an expert that's trusted and their content is working today, not something that is just theory or ideas, or you're just getting answers to questions, but a platform that has heart-forward experts like yourself who know your stuff. You're applying it all the time. You're not just talking about it. You're doing it. Your customers are benefiting from it. And now you're on a platform where if someone needs to learn how to do the thing that you teach and that you do so well, I can get it from a vetted expert. And if I need more, that's the beauty of this, why an LMS, learning management system, that basically allows you to look at a screen and learn, is an outdated, broken system. Doesn't work. Maybe it did, but it doesn't work at the moment because it's this only one way of connecting. Now you're in a platform where when somebody watches your content and says, oh my gosh, Penny, this is brilliant. I wish I could have you do this for my leaders at our retreat. That's what Penny's there for. We want you to reach out to Penny. We want you to say, hey, Penny, we've all watched your content. We've all engaged with your AI. Really, really helpful. We have a really big initiative. We want you to personally get involved with this. Can we get you to do a keynote for us next? Yes, that's the purpose. Not one-dimensional, I watch and try to remember, but multi-dimensional, I watch, I remember. I work with the AI. I have questions for the real human. All of that is how you actually grow.
Well, let's step back because a lot of people, this might be their first introduction to MyFuel, and we'll definitely have links below where people can actually sign up and test it. So what is different? Like, tell us just in a couple minutes, what is the structure? How do people learn on the platform, and how is it different from other types of platforms?
So how does Fuel work? Fuel is a performance platform, not a knowledge platform. I think we need to make a distinction of what that means. Learning and knowledge platforms teach for knowledge, for understanding. Okay. And it's like, Alex, isn't that the purpose? Kind of. Wait a second. Knowledge is saying you understand. Performance is proving you understand. We want to make sure that we can prove we understood that by being able to do the thing we learned rather than remember the thing we learned. Memory alone, as we just talked about, is not where you want to be focusing. You want to be focusing on applied knowledge. Where can I apply the thing that I know? So Fuel has experts like yourself, Penny, and we have over 200 altogether at the moment, but only about 51 or 2 in the platform live with content and interactive learning. Every single one of these experts has a proven method, has a proven process. And so what we've done is we've taken all of these experts, we've taken their content, and we've remastered it for performance learning and training, not knowledge gathering. Okay. So every piece of content is constantly sharpened towards, oh, now that you've learned this, go ahead and apply it and make sure that it sticks. So throughout all of the courseware, you'll find when you go in there, and they're all micro content courses and lessons, so everything is usually below 5 minutes or so, you'll be able to take a piece of information that Penny teaches you. And in that one lesson, you won't need to watch any other lesson. You'll be able to take that one lesson and apply it today. That's what microlearning is all about. You don't need 6 chapters cut up into 5 minutes to go like, oh, now that I've done 30 minutes, I can do this. No, Penny and all of our other instructors, when they teach you something, that one thing you can do right away. So that's number one biggest difference. We're not teaching you for memory. We're teaching you to apply the thing you just learned.
So it's that interactive application that's absolutely key. But I want to point out the whole micro lesson and why that's important today, right? Is because people don't have the attention span that they had. They need to find that thing that they're looking for right now. Like maybe they're working on negotiation for a contract and they need to look at that in a specific way. They want to go right to that information that they need, and they can get that quickly in a lesson and then interact with that AI. Right?
Exactly right. And apply it right there and then. Yes.
Exactly. And apply it right there and then. And I think that's also the difference. It's not learn, hold on to it until when you need it, because when you need it, you've forgotten it or you haven't applied it in between. A lot of really great training programs, they stop when you leave the program.
That's right.
There's no ongoing application that helps you to integrate it. That's the word I was exactly. So you can integrate it so that you can apply it where and when you need it. And I think that's also one of the beauties of this platform is having that AI instructor to always go back to and ask questions. Hey, this didn't work for me in this way. What are my other options? Right? Boom. And then come some other options because everybody is different. Their situation is a little bit different. Their personalities are a little bit different, and they may need some alternative approaches. And there it is.
Well, what you're mentioning is the real secret behind Fuel, is that when, Erickson in 1993, a mathematician that helped prove the power law of practice, which is a mathematical law that says that something you repeat over and over again, you get better at. And that makes sense on the surface, but over time, mathematicians found that no, that doesn't continue. You don't just get better at something you do over and over again. That hits a wall. There's a limit. You can hit a limit of getting better at something when you repeat it over and over again. And this is where Fuel comes in, unless an expert helps you break through those limits. And that's what Fuel is all about. When you learn and practice, you can't just practice with anyone. You can only practice with the expert you learn from, because that expert can show you how to reach the next level, then the next level, then the next level, then the next level. And so when people are practicing with their peers or their managers or on their own, and no one is telling them how much they can improve or where they need to improve, they will get better to a point. That's a fact. That's a mathematical law. You'll actually read about it. But then you'll stop. There's a cap. And it's like, how come I'm not getting better? Because no expert is pushing you past that limit. You're now repeating the same habits, which may end up being bad habits over time because things change, and you will actually go down or hit your plateau. And so exactly what you said, the beauty of Fuel is that when Penny teaches you something and you go, oh, I want to apply that and make sure it makes sense to me, you're practicing it with Penny, her knowledge, not things being pulled from the web, but her actual knowledge, her proven knowledge. And every time you practice, she's telling you, have you ever met a coach that gets you to practice something and says, 1,000% you don't need anything else? No, never happens. No coach will ever say that. If they're a real coach, they're going to say, that's really good. You know where else you can improve now? And you're going to improve in that area. You're like, I'm done, right? Like,
keep pushing.
Yeah, never done, right? You're like, oh, now you've improved there, but you know where else you can improve? And it's never over, which is why elite exists. Elite exists in anything in life, sports, military, chefs, medicine, you name it. The reason anyone is elite in anything is they're constantly applying it with someone telling them how they can do better.
Absolutely.
No, that's it.
Little nuances, right? I like to liken that towards even in martial arts, right? You hit black belt, but there's multiple levels of black belt. So even when you're at an elite status, there's always a nuance that can make you just a little bit better, right? And a little bit better.
Yes. But this wasn't possible at scale before. And what's interesting, Penny, is that until we came around talking this way to the world, everyone was looking to build a better learning system.
Right.
And we're like, what? No, stop. It's not about the learning. We're really good at learning stuff. Actually, humans are the best at learning stuff. We're the most adaptable. Change the environment. It's cold. I know exactly how to get warm. It's warm. I know exactly how to get cold. I'm hungry. I know exactly how to, like, I will figure it out. Humans can figure things out. That's what makes us so special is how quickly we adapt. It's not about learning. It's about how do we put that learning to use? That's the challenge right now. But if you look at something, and everyone listening, I encourage you to do this, go to and do your research on alpha schools it started in Texas. Now it's spreading out. I think 5 or 6 different states are about to have this. Why? Why so quickly? Just a couple years and the results are tremendous. You ready? The average SAT score from an alpha school last year in 2025 was 1,530 points.
Wow.
Watch this. They are the school that has the lowest amount of learning time out of any school in the country. 2 hours a day. That's it. 2 hours a day. But it's not talking to everyone. 2 hours of hyper-personalized, ultra-nuanced learning per person in the class. Every person had their own AI instructor about every single topic that they were learning. And guess what they were doing? Exactly what we're doing in Fuel. Identical. They learn, they stop, they go, now show us that you understood it. Show us that what you just learned from me, you can actually do. And guess what? 40 students in class having 40 unique conversations about the way that they understood what was said. And all 40 got different ways how they can do better. All 40 had different nuanced ways that they could improve. And over the course of the year, in those subjects, in those areas, the highest scores consistently in a cohort that anyone's ever tracked in school, ever.
Because we're meeting people where they are personally. And I think that that is also a huge difference, because I just recently did a research study on personalization and the new era of personalization. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have this ability with this technology to do it at scale and to really make sure that each person has that individualized attention and connection that meets them where they're at. That is key. That opens up. And you had mentioned it. You didn't say it just now, but when you said we're focused on the wrong thing, right? It's because things changed and we continue to focus on the learning. But your platform, you talk about it as performance platform, right? When people focus on not learning, because that's not the end result. The end result is that we have better performance. And I think we forget that sometimes as we get lost in that lower level of a task, right? The learning is maybe the task. But if we remember the higher level objective, and that is the performance, then we're going to find new ways to make that happen based on the environment that we're living in today.
100%. And it makes people like you far more valuable than you've ever been before. Because then someone like you, an expert, now there's a whole trend, you can look it up, like an expert in the loop or a human in the loop, where, attorneys that used to have to do everything are now being asked. This attorney is just an example. It's every category. But an attorney used to be asked, can you help us write this contract? And yes, it's going to be I'm just going to make something up, $200 an hour to write this contract. And now it's, hey, I have written a contract. Can you make sure I'm not going to get in trouble from it? Yeah. So it's the expert in the loop, but that expert is more valuable than ever, because all of the misinformation out there is going to get a lot of people in trouble. So you need an expert, hence Penny, to be there to make sure that what people are getting ready to do, that they're having AI help them with, is actually the best thing that they can do. And so this makes, like, for instance, as you go out there and as people are working with experts like you, now for the first time ever, you're going to say to an organization, hey, I know you scheduled this for your 20 leaders, but you have 300 people in your organization. Before you think about the numbers, would it be helpful for me to be in the room with all 300 of your people, helping them get focused and helping them reset when they need? And every employer is going to say, of course, Penny, but it's too much. You're like, hey, I told you, don't think about the numbers. Would it be beneficial? Is the advantage yours if I'm in a room with every employee? Obviously. And you go, yes, I now can be at scale for each person. And that's where all of a sudden you, Penny, this is really important for everyone that's listening, that's an expert in gurus. You all deserve to be paid for what you know, not what you do. You've already proven you can do it. You need to be able to do it at scale. And for you to be able to do it at scale, you need to be really compensated for what you know. And that is where your AI and your courseware start to allow you to help tens of thousands rather than the hundreds that are able to afford you. You can actually be in their meeting room with them. And now, we talk about what's the real impact of Fuel and what we're all doing together here. It's that
Yeah.
you, Penny, can physically help more people than you've ever been able to help. And you should, because your stuff is fantastic.
Well, thank you. I guess we've given it away. So I'm excited that I am an instructor on the Fuel platform. And I want to say that I chose this platform for everything that you're saying. I want to make a greater impact. I want more people to have access to the experience and skills that I've built over these years and can share with more people. But it's because this is the future of learning. It's this application, right? I've always been about that. I went to Drexel, which had a co-op program. It was one of the very first schools because I'm all about the learning by doing, right? That's how we really learn. That's how we elevate faster. That's what the reset mindset is all about, is shortening those learning cycles, learn as we go. And then we're going to get where we want to go much faster than in these longer learning cycles. So I'm super excited about, being on the platform. I have 2 courses on there right now. And of course, my AI is available. And there'll be a link in the show notes that people can get access to a 7-day guided access for free just to check out the platform. What didn't I ask you that you really wanted to share?
I think you've asked everything that I would plea and have everyone understand that's going to watch this and listen to this. What we're talking about is not just for adults and enterprise and older generation. As a parent, this is something that I'm thinking about for my kids, for their friends, my family's kids and their future in careers. I'm encouraging everyone to start thinking about anything they have an interest in learning, how you can apply what you're trying to learn. Okay. Just think about no longer going after everything in knowledge as the goal, but how will you turn that knowledge? And knowledge as the goal is great for those people, that for everyone. I mean, knowing things and being smarter and constantly putting in great things inside is key, but don't do it for the objective of just putting it inside is key. For you, your kids, your family, your friends, everyone just remind them that really, if you learn it, apply it, make it yours so you don't have to remember it. It's already part of you. It comes out of you from the inside naturally without you having to think about it. That is where true value is derived for each human on this planet at the moment, is how we can be of service to this planet, to ourselves and this planet, by applying ourselves and being the best version of ourselves. And so I'll leave it with that.
Absolutely. And for those who are listening, right, this is not just hard skills, right? Like you can apply building trust. And then as a leader, it becomes part of who you are because you've done these exercises in practice and role plays and discussions, right? And you get better at how you communicate. That's how it works. I'm so excited about this platform. And really, I also have to say your leadership and your team are just fantastic to work with. So you really do have the heart behind this business, which I think is also what makes it that much more special.
Thank you so much for that. That's the goal. Have everyone in the roles that they enjoy and can be the best version of themselves. And I just happen to have some amazing folks decide to join us on this journey like yourself.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you all. Make sure you click the link and remember that it's about shortening those learning cycles and apply, right? Make it a part of who you are so that it's not just knowledge, it's application, it becomes experience, and then becomes second nature. We'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes, just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on Time to Reset. We'll see you in the next episode.